is Brussels, capital of Belgium, famous for some stunning architecture and delicious chocolate. But Jurgen Klinsmann's US team are not here as tourists. They play a talented Belgian side looking to give the new coach his first win and to seek redemption after a shock defeat to Costa Rica 9 time zones away in Los Angeles last Friday. We're inside the King Baudouin Stadium. This is the home of the Belgium football team. They have their issues qualifying for the European Championship finals next summer themselves. But it's the US we're concentrating on. Can Jurgen Klinsmann get that elusive first win? I'm Ian Dark, and John Harkes, who captained the USA in this very stadium to a 2-0 defeat, I hasten to add, he knows, don't you, John, how tough this is going to be for the US side.
Well, it's going to be a challenge just going up against a very youth-infused Belgian side, but also coming off of the last loss against Costa Rica mentally now, the players have to adapt a little bit, and it is trial and error, so they've got to go through this process.
So, Jurgen Klinsmann, how is he approaching this game? Coming 4 days after that Costa Rica loss, he's downstairs talking with Rob Stone.
Coach, offensively, what have you been stressing with your team this camp?
What are you trying to do, obviously, also after the experience with Costa Rica, where I think we played a good game, but we didn't finish things off. So what we're trying to do is getting more present in the opponent's 18-yard box, getting more people in there. Hopefully now with Clint Dempsey being available, that is a weapon for us. We keep pretty much the same shape with Robbie Rogers on the right, Craig Shea on the left, get them down to the end line hopefully, and then deliver some stuff to Clint and to Josie Altidore, and just be more hungry for finishing things off.
This is Clint's first game under your watch. What are the instructions you gave him in his role on this team?
Well, I gave him a lot of responsibilities. I mean, he's a player now that is one of the leaders of this group, and I want him to step it up. I want him to show people that, you know, he becomes a leader. He's one of the leaders with Len Donovan, with Carlos Bocanegra, and with Tim Howard that leads us towards the World Cup 2014 in Brazil. And I want him to express himself like I want to see everybody doing that, but him in a particular way, because he has so much talent, he has so much potential, and I want him to realize that and to stretch it as much as he can.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, there you heard Jurgen Klinsmann. There's no Landon Donovan. Talking about Clint Dempsey, he's important tonight.
He's very important, and obviously he's been a leader and a goal scorer, a pure finisher. When you look at a creative player that can change the game, well, that's him right there. Very dangerous, good skill on the ball, and you need a player like that in the final third, and that's something that part of Jurgen Klinsmann's looking for, that conviction in the final third.
Yep, scored 3 times in the Gold Cup. At the back, there's more experience in the lineup tonight, particularly the return of Steve Cherundolo. They'll need that.
Certainly, and Steve Cherundolo's been there so many times, Ian, and a very reliable player, but also great captain, you know, for Hanover, and good leadership skills. So he brings to the back line another situation that they can at least try to stop Belgium from the attack.
It's a rainy night in Brussels, but there is a good contingent of US fans. They've even been having one of those tailgate parties out in the car park here just outside the stadium. So this ought to be good. A good test for the US side. In the meantime, let's go back to Bob in the studio.
Thank you, Ian. Never had quite a tailgate in the city of Brussels. Imagine that. All right. Second match for the United States in less than 5 full days with Taylor Twellman and Alexi Lalas. I'm Bob Lee. They played, of course, Friday evening. The United States yet to demonstrate under head coach Jurgen Klinsmann. Yes, they can play well, but for 90 full minutes and be able, as we've heard about already, to finish. If the United States must show something today, what is it?
Well, we saw about 30 minutes of quality play, a new style, a commitment to possession, a commitment to establishing a rhythm. Fair enough against Costa Rica. Now, today against Belgium, where it's going to be a whole lot faster, a whole lot more pressure, I need to see it consistently done from game to game, and maybe for 45 minutes.
And Alexi, possession's fine, but you got to score goals. And Jurgen said it best, finish things off. When the ball gets out wide, get in the box. You just can't have one forward in the 18-yard box to score goals.
USA lineup. We can argue, as we were just a few hours ago, what do you want to label this formation the United States is putting out there? They've got 8 players who played Friday, but there it is, and some guys are going to be tired, and of course, Clint Dempsey's in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're playing with 11. That's all you really know. I mean, when we look right there, for me, Jose Torres is one to key on right now. You want to be the man, you want to have the possession and run the show, fine. It was okay against Costa Rica. I think he did a good job. Now, once again, a whole lot more speed out there, a whole lot more pressure. Can he do it today against Belgium?
And expect to see Clint Dempsey, the moment that ball goes out to Robbie Rogers, Brett Shea, to get as close as he can out the door, because they have to have 2 runners in that 18-yard box to score goals.
They had the chances on Friday. Finishing, obviously, was the critical problem. Now, Belgium, as Ian mentioned, they're having some problem qualifying for Euro 2012. They've got a very tough group to qualify for the World Cup for 2014. This is a young team. This is a physical team. You mentioned Torres having the ability to maybe create, but you're going to have some people in the midfield going to say something about that.
Yeah, and I look for a couple of matchups. Number one, Vincent Kompany, the captain of Manchester City, 25 years old in the back there. As he goes up against Josie Altidore, those are some big guys banging up there.
They are. And Timothy Chandler, inexperienced, playing left back. How will he handle Hazard running down the right flank?
Of course, Landon Donovan not part of the selection. Clint Dempsey is. And you talk about, for example, there was bitter criticism from the head coach of Josie Altidore's Dutch team, AZ, about the way that Jurgen Klinsmann has scheduled these two matches. And he was not a fan at all that Altidore had to leave the Dutch team, go to California, and come back, feeling it's going to hurt the player.
I mean, look, I don't think Jurgen cares, to be honest. He's got...
Basically, that's what the Dutch coach said.
Yeah, and I don't think he does care. He says, this is my job, this is what I'm going to do, you guys are going to deal with it. When Jurgen was coach of Germany, he put a lot of the onus back on the German clubs, whether it was for fitness. Jurgen said, this is the way I'm going, either you're with me or against me. Maybe that's not the most prudent way to go, but he's going to need their help.
He's got to care, though, Alexi, because look at Brek Shea. He's played over 790 minutes since August 6th. Like, that's too many games. And you're going from L.A. to Belgium? Like, really?
Well,
what's the
second half Friday night? How fit did this team look?
They look tired because Alexi alluded to it earlier. The first 35 minutes, U.S. was possession. They had the ball the whole game. Second half, a lot of one-on-one dribbling, not a lot of continuity going offensively forward. That's
But Jurgen has made it very clear that this team needs to have a fitness level, a better fitness level, in order to play the style that he wants. Now, he can only do that so much in a couple of days that he has with the team. He's going to put the onus back on the clubs. Watch. He's going to say, in order for you to play for me, you have to be at a higher level of fitness, and it's up to the clubs to do that.
You can't do that now, though, in the middle of the season doing double days.
Well, they're playing, as we said, second game in less than 5 days. 6,000 miles apart. The fitness, it comes down to goals. Can the United States get one? They'll all have anthems in just a moment.
Welcome back to the King Baudouin Stadium in Brussels, Belgium. The latest stop on Jurgen Klinsmann's adventure as US coach. Can he get the first win tonight? It'll be tough. The last 5 times the US have played in Europe, John, they've lost.
Well, I think really it's the process, Ian, too, that we have to continue to look at in terms of the big picture here. This is all about identifying players, assessing what formations work, who complements who, and really, in terms of the back burner, you look at results and you say, look, it'd be great to win, because maybe it's a byproduct of the process itself and doing well and developing players, but I don't think that's the first thing you got to look at. You see Carl Beckerman right there coming on
with some stitches from his game for Real Salt Lake when he scored the other day.
What an absolute golazo he had. That was a fantastic strike. Brilliant goal.
He only got here 36 hours ago because of that game and arrived straight from the airport to the training ground. They had to give him a pair of boots straight to training with jet lag.
Try to keep things, real as much as possible. He needed a serious warm-up. I mean, coming out of his suitcase, getting his boots on and just getting stretched out properly. But what a good pro, and he is in good form. I talked to Jason Kreis about him. He said he's just flying right now, really playing well.
Got a shot of Jeff Laurentowicz there, is hoping to get his first game in a while. Only one cap so far. That was against Chile back in January. And we also caught sight of Sasha Klestjan, who's not in the starting lineup. The Belgian journalists were hoping he would be, because he plays in this country for Anderlecht and lives 15 minutes from the stadium here.
Yeah, it's a far away from Huntington Beach, California, where he grew up and makes his trade here at Anderlecht, just south of where we are now, Ian. It'd be pretty special for him, I'm sure, to get on the field and compete for the U.S. side. A lot of pride.
There will be a few empty seats here tonight. This stadium holds 50,000 fans, but it is very, very wet indeed. It has been right across Western Europe today. But the pitch is in pretty good condition out there, although we were warned by some members of the US coaching team that when they trained on it last night, they thought it was a bit loose.
Yeah, well, I think because of the weather and the downpour of rain that we've had in the last 2 days here, that it is going to be a bit slippery. You're going to see the players out with the best studs on that they have in terms of grip. The atmosphere is going to be great, so another good challenge to see how players mentally can handle themselves in tough situations in different environments.
The Belgian fans will have half an ear on a European Championship qualifier being played in Austria tonight, where Turkey are the visitors. Belgium are locked in a battle with Turkey for second place in the group, and that would mean a playoff spot for them. If they don't finish second, they don't qualify. And the odds are not with them because Turkey have a game in hand. That is the game in hand tonight in Austria. But they've picked a strong-looking side here tonight with a bit of Premier League experience. Company and Fellaini of Everton. Watch for the exciting winger Eden Hazard as well, who's passed the fitness test today. Plays for Lille and is getting all kind of rave reviews. Just about ready now for the two national anthems as the rain slants down in Brussels. Carlos Bocanegra retaining the captaincy under Jurgen Klinsmann and the USA, and currently living in a hotel in Glasgow after moving to Rangers. We're ready for the anthems, I think. Or maybe not quite. There's some FIFA fair play rituals to go through, first of all.
We pledge to demonstrate our fairness and solidarity now and in the future, both on and off the field.
We ondersteunen alle de FIFA Fair Play slogan. Our game is fair play.
Thank you, merci beaucoup. Dank u. Dames en heren, mogen wij u vragen om recht te staan voor de nationale.
I think the players just want to get on with it, to be honest, at the moment. They've had the warm-up and they're just getting a little cold and the muscles might be stiff. Belgium trying to bring back the good times. They were once World Cup semi-finalists in 1986. So this is a significant test for the US side. It's a fascinating match, this one, in Brussels. And it's coming up live in just a moment for you. This was once the tragic Heysel Stadium, scene of dreadful scenes when 39 Juventus fans died at the 1985 European Cup final against Liverpool. The victims are still remembered here and will never be forgotten. 26 years ago, and the stadium has been renovated since then, and we're all set to go here. Tim Chandler primed to perform for Gatorade.
Absolutely, Ian. I think that this is an opportunity for him to step in. And as a left back today, there's always been question marks over the years on who could fill that role. Well, Timmy Chandler, Gatorade player to perform, gets an opportunity tonight.
Interesting to see how the US cope here against an emerging and improving Belgium side. A lot of their players being watched by scouts continually. There was a lot of talk about Eden Hazard, who's wearing the number 7 shirt for Belgium tonight, going to Arsenal. It didn't happen in the window, but I'm sure he'll be playing for one of the really big European teams soon. How will Timmy Chandler, I wonder, cope with him? That's a big test.
It's a huge challenge, Ian, especially when you look at him as a 20-year-old player, Hazard, and playing for Lille in the French League, Player of the Year. So going up one of the best players right now on the pitch, it's going to be a huge challenge for him.
The Belgians using their usual right back, Alderweireld, in the centre of defence tonight. They brought in Simon for only his 6th cap at right back. Company is the key man back there. He's in possession now. No Vermaelen, who's out with an ankle injury, or Vertonghen of Ajax, who's usually in the starting lineup. So can the US take advantage of what is a slightly makeshift defence for Belgium? Only slightly. Here's Edu for the US. Little touch for Clint Dempsey, who's playing his first game of the Klinsmann era. Didn't make the trip to Los Angeles for the Costa Rica game, officially because of back spasms. But because of that, he doesn't have the jet lag.
Yeah, he seems to be a bit fresh as well coming in here. And when you look at players, too, trying to recover from playing in against Costa Rica and LA, the travel situation, plus the fitness that's going on throughout in the training situation, and Jurgen Klinsmann and his staff. It's going to be tough, especially with the conditions here. It's been raining all day. Wet surface, so the ball's going to be slick. It's going to be sloppy at times.
Players usually like that, though, don't they?
Well, they do, because it's fast and furious, and they love when the ball zips around quickly, but sometimes the technique seems to fall when you get hurried up and pressured, but we'll see.
Interesting to see how the US defence copes. A lot more experience tonight than against Costa Rica. Orozco Fiscal and Castillo both left out of the starting lineup this time. Howard under a little bit of pressure. In fact, Bocanegra had a total of 6 caps around him in defence last week. This time he's got 100 caps.
Yeah, a little bit better.
Him.
A little bit better in terms of experience, decision making. But when to hold the line, when to push up, keep in possession, all that dictating out of the back is so important. Sets a rhythm within the team.
Here is Dempsey. You heard Jurgen Klinsmann say he wants Dempsey to step up even more, be a leader of the side. So far, he hasn't had Dempsey and Donovan, his 2 talismen, playing in the same team, has he, Jurgen? Here's Witsel, up to Fellaini. Now here's Hazard. Now this is the Brazilian-born Di Camargo, who's been brought in up front tonight, replacing Romelu Lukaku, the youngster who's just signed for big money for Chelsea. He's on the bench.
You see here, Torres just getting a little bit of a pull down, cleaning things up throughout that midfield, interchanging positions at times, but with Maurice Edu, number 6 there, playing at Rangers along with Bocanegra on the ball. You'll see him trying to push Dempsey up as high as he can in terms of that attacking creative role, but Torres and Dempsey right now side by side.
Shea taken out of it. That'll certainly be a free kick. Fellaini.
It's a great touch here. Very good attacking, get to the ball by Breck Shea. In the last minute, Fellaini, Everton player with Tim Howard. So very rash challenge, very late coming in. Of course, you want to use a player like Breck Shea, Ian, and because of his height, the way he attacks the ball on set pieces here makes a difference in the box. An added option. Clarence Goodson in there today, bringing some experience. He scored goals on set pieces, very good.
I'm just wondering here, John, whether they might use the skiddy turf here to try to make one bounce right in front of the goalkeeper. That's exactly what Dempsey did, and it nearly paid off. Good idea from Clint Dempsey.
It was a very good strike, and he pings it in here, sort of like a knuckleball. You've seen Cristiano Ronaldo do it very well. And certainly, Mignolet has a tough time holding on to that. And the follow-up comes through from Josie Altidore. Anticipation, plenty of white shirts in there, crashing the box.
Could have been, couldn't it? That
Yeah,
for
that was
Altidore.
unfortunate.
He didn't know what day it was there. Mignolet, the Sunderland goalkeeper, it hit him in the face. That really kicked up off the turf. Really good effort, I thought, from Dempsey. Di Camargo getting in behind here. And every time the ball does get in behind, Jurgen Klinsmann was saying to you yesterday he wants to hear sirens sounding among those defenders, which he didn't think happened with the goal the other night Costa Rica scored.
Yeah, you want to be able to sound the alarm bells and make sure that they're switched on even before that happens, and just staying alert. And when you look at the Costa Rica goal, Saborío makes the run in behind, and the ball, no pressure on the ball. In the last match against Costa Rica, too many players not covered in the right positions and dropping off and providing depth. So he was really talking about that to us yesterday at training, making sure players are aware of that.
Here's Carlos Bocanegra, who's looking forward to his first Old Firm derby in Glasgow. He won't forget it, I tell you. A couple of weeks' time. Rangers against Celtic, of course. Cherundolo, whose Hanover side are unbeaten so far in the Bundesliga, going great guns. Another one who didn't have to make the trip to Los Angeles, so should be reasonably fresh here.
You see company there all over Josie Altidore. He's staying in his back pocket, basically, not giving him any time and space on the ball.
It's interesting, Clint Dempsey being used as a conventional central midfield player here, playing a little deeper than Donovan was against Costa Rica. Much involved early on as well. This is Simon trying to get forward. The ball did go out of play. The referee, by the way, tonight is from Scotland, William Collum, involved in a huge row last year over decisions in an Old Firm match, and that led, among other cases, to a strike by Scottish referees. So one or two angles tonight, as you'll have gathered.
You see a little pressure here from Di Camargo, putting it on the back of Carlos Bocanegra. Holding on to the ball just a little bit, looking for some options. Di Camargo still has not scored a goal yet. Sixth cap tonight. Will be watched closely by Bocanegra and Clarence Goodson on the ball.
Here's Goodson, who captains Brøndby, the famous Danish side. Not that they're doing very well this season. They're conceding nearly 2 goals a game. And are way down the league, but it's early. Very early.
Sort of the same type of thing. It's early in the process here with Jurgen Klinsmann. Only his 3rd game, and I think results, are important, of course, but right now just assessing players and identifying, see who can step up and play this style of play, entertaining soccer in the final third.
This is Martins. Witzel. Now, Hazard against Chandler. Chandler did well, got his body in the way, switched from right back to the problem left back position tonight. Timmy Chandler, who plays his football in Europe in the Bundesliga with Nuremberg. Simon holds his hand up and says sorry to his teammates. Cherundolo is able to bring it away. Tries to find Robbie Rogers, one of only 2 MLS players in the side tonight. The other being Brek Shea of FC Dallas on the other side. It's important those two use the spaces out wide and make a case. This is a good test against some battle-hardened European players.
Well, it is, and actually there's a lot of experience in Belgium, but also infusion of youth, and there's a lot of young players that are really starting to become this new generation of Belgian players coming through the system. So they're out here to impress their manager as well.
Pretty fair start this, though, by the US, seeing plenty of the ball. Not under any real pressure at all so far. What can they create themselves? Altidore tries to find Brek Shea. Cut out by Alderweireld, the defender who's being blamed in the Belgian press for the equaliser that Azerbaijan scored late on. An away game on Friday, a very, very bad setback that was for Belgium, because Turkey went in the last minute, their big rivals. Used to be really good, didn't they, in the 1980s and 90s. Belgium, they qualified for 6 World Cups in a row, made the semi-finals of 1. Torres now. Now then, Breck Shea. Looks to hit the byline and get a cross in. Simon did just enough.
He did very well, Breck Shea, and I like his approach. His first touch is towards the one-on-one, right at the defender. That's very good, forcing a corner here for the U.S. And I think possession-wise, Ian, like you said before, the U.S. have done pretty well. Not under a lot of pressure from the strikers of Belgium, but still very confident on the ball.
Bocanegra was trying to attack that. He's got a lot of important goals with his head. Torres has done well there. The US, the more eye-catching side early on. Altidore. Back to Robbie Rogers. In towards Shea. Point for Clint Dempsey on the other side. Dempsey has scored 3 goals in the Gold Cup. This is his first appearance for the US since that competition. No chance for these American players, John, to sample the famous chocolate around here. Land, train, hotel, game.
Not a lot of time, you're right. Plenty of time for that after the game. Could be a reward.
I think they're out of here at dawn tomorrow. They might not be, unless it's at the airport. Here's Maurice Edu. Steve Cherundolo, cap number 74 for him.
I'd just like to see a player like Steve Cherundolo come into the side, Ian. We talked about his experience before, but very calm on the ball. Just great decisions.
Torres on the ball. He was a little bit of a doubt for this game after his foot was stamped on in the match the other night, but keen to play. As it should be, of course. Chandler with the cross in. Not accurate enough. Witsel of Benfica plays it wide for Dries Mertens. He's really in hot goal-scoring form for his club, PSV Eindhoven. You look around this Belgian side, there are a lot of quite big-name players. It would be a big failure for them really not to make the European Championship finals.
Yeah, I think especially when you look at the veteran there, number 6, Timmy Simons, in the midfield holding.
Hazard, nicely invented for Fellaini. It's gone out of play, though.
Definitely a goal kick. The referee did very well there. Fellaini coming through the midfield late, Ian. It's a good combination play. You see Eden Hazard just playing it through into space, but good cover and balance right there from Torres as he chases back. Nice to see the creative Torres doing that, though, actually. You know, from midfield he started that run to at least wanted to defend as a shape, which is very good.
George Leekens, who's a big friend of the US ambassador in these parts. Howard Gutman, who turned up to training yesterday morning. Axel Witsel. Now Hazard. That won't be a problem for Tim Howard. Only a short journey back to England for him for the weekend game against Aston Villa. Dempsey in towards Josie Altidore. Altidore doing very well this season in Europe for AZ Alkmaar with 5 goals in his first 6 matches for his new club. Hazard, this is what he can do. Lovely swivel of the hips, went past 2 players, finds Di Camargo. Bocanegra with an important block in, but it's still alive. Witsel. And Cherundolo did some very good work there. Free kick, USA. That was tough, resolute defending. He's a feisty character, Clint Dempsey. All right. Don't take any liberties, not with me. Yeah, but you've got to be brave to argue with Fellaini as well, I tell you.
And Fellaini, a big tower player, strong in the midfield. He's shown that before. I think Clint Dempsey, he gets fired up. He's looking for the ball, and that's the responsibility. Jurgen Klinsmann saying, you want players that want the ball. Clint Dempsey's the type of player that always looks for it. Takes on the responsibility of the side.
By the way, Clarence Goodson, who just played that ball to Bocanegra, is also playing his first game for Jurgen Klinsmann here. I would have to say, going into this game, we were talking in the hotel today, John, a draw, I think, would be a rattling good result for the US here. Anything better than that, they can do cartwheels.
I think a draw is good, Ian. I think more or less, I'm looking for just a very good side, a good playing, understanding, linking up, some bright spots in the game, and players that are just really a sharp display throughout the 90 minutes, more of a consistent game throughout the 90 minutes.
The United States women's team returns to action Thursday, September the 22nd on ESPN2. Hope Solo, Abby Wambach and the rest. USA against Canada. And that's 11 Eastern on ESPN2 and online, ESPN3.com. Be good to see them in action again after the excitement of the summer in Germany.
You see Robbie Rogers just getting clipped here in the heel, sets up this free kick. Looking to use his pace to get in behind, stretch the back line of Belgium. See company there. Talked about size in this team. Vincent Kompany, certainly one of the players from Man City. 40 caps to his belt, 41st one tonight.
Torres, the designated playmaker for Jurgen Klinsmann, gets the job with the set piece. It's curled. Curled quite dangerously as well. Wasn't the worst free kick in the world, that one.
Well, it wasn't far off at all. This one, plenty of bend on it, and he whipped it just towards that back post. Overhit certainly for players, but close to the goal.
Mignolet will tell you he had it covered. I'm not totally certain.
No, I think Mignolet, as he turned and looked, he didn't realize where he was. He's a little bit overcompensating towards the near post. If he finds himself on target, he's got a problem.
Right kind of ball. Mertens, only 5 feet 5 inches. Clever little ball to Di Camargo's. Waiting in the middle for that. There's going to be a free kick just outside the box given here.
We see here Robbie Rogers got a hand on him. And I think the big touch came away way too far away. Lambert was running through. Number 5 sort of embellished that a little bit, didn't he? And I think he sold it to the ref.
He sold it and it was bought. Tim Howard wants a clean sheet here. Very nearly kept out that Costa Rica goal against all odds the other day. This low and hard across the goalkeeper. It was well defended. It was Dempsey, in fact, who got the header away. Everybody back behind the ball for the US. Simon to launch that one in. Di Camargo won the header. Belgians just beginning to up the tempo. Simon's foul on Breck Shea. There'll be a few agents looking at Breck Shea and scouts because he wants to play in Europe. He said so.
So there should be. And he's a young player. Good prospect. Bright future ahead of him. Certainly going to grow with the game and learn quite a bit. But being challenged in Europe is a good thing for a young player. And I'm sure he's being well watched tonight.
That is Shea. Here's Timmy Chandler, who has played at left back before, but of course he is right-footed and right back's his normal position. The ball's played out because Torres has gone down with an injury. That's not the same injury that caused him to be a down pre-kickoff, by the way. It was a foot injury. This time it looks like his... What, has he hurt his back there, John? It's hard to see, really. Rob Stone's got some news on Breck Shea for us.
Well, guys, we talked to his agent in the lobby earlier today, and he flew into town for other business as well. But Breck Shea signed a new deal with MLS earlier in the season, but we were told there was some heavy interest very late in the last transfer period from a pretty large German club. And the plans and the thinking are right now that the next transfer window may be a very active one for Breck Shea, guys.
Thanks, Rob. Interesting. See what happens, but a lot of players get scouted. They have to look the part, and this will be the kind of game where they'll be watching very, very closely to see how he copes against this experienced European League professionals. Bocanegra wasn't quite what Cherundolo was expecting, I wouldn't think, from there. Timmy Simons now restored to the centre of that midfield. He scored the penalty in Azerbaijan the other night, played in the Champions League for PSV Eindhoven, and is now a teammate of Timmy Chandler at Nuremberg in the Bundesliga. Super player.
Very good player, and as you said, he scored the penalty. They were up 1-0, and then they leaked that goal very late to find themselves with an equalizer, 1-1. They found themselves really behind Turkey as well by a point. Made things difficult for themselves. That's where they're very unpredictable, though, aren't they, Belgium? You know, you look at that side, so much potential, but they are unpredictable.
Yeah, they haven't really arrived yet. They badly do need to get to the European Championship finals. They haven't made the last 2 Euros or the last 2 World Cups.
Well, if the U.S. were to get a victory tonight, it'd be pretty special, since, you know, Belgium have only lost once here at home, and that was to Germany.
Mertens plays it wide here for Laurent Simon. Now here's Marouane Fellaini to Eden Hazard. Mertens again, and the flag goes up. That was a little careless from Belgium.
You see as Fellaini just drifts in the offside. A little bit lazy approach from Fellaini tonight. You see him when he plays, you know, for Everton in the club side, very aggressive through that midfield, and you've seen him box to box. And you catch him week in, week out. He's very, you know, winning balls, tackles, getting forward, does everything. Tonight, very, very kind of hanging out, just taking it slow in this opening first half.
He's dangerous in the air as well, given half a chance. It's Di Camargo battling away with Goodson. Quite pleased to see Clarence Goodson restored to the centre of defence, and need that experience in a game like this one. Castillo, by the way, the left back who played the other night, the Mexican League player, who's been given a chance and started both games under Klinsmann, is not even on the bench this time. I think they're thinking Olympic Games, aren't they, I think, now for him?
Well, it's, again, going back to assessing and identifying players, and within the, you know, the Olympic Games of the 23s, it's important to, wow, look at this good ball. Great ball in behind. Very well done by Steve Cherundolo, trying to pick out Breck Shea. But going back to the 23s, yeah, there's a number of players, Ian, that are going to be eligible to play, and that's grooming them and getting them through the system, coming off Thomas Rongen's U20s as well from this past year.
Robbie Rogers wearing the number 7 shirt, the Columbus Crew player, Jurgen Klinsmann was singing his praises yesterday, which is interesting because he didn't pick him for the first squad he had against Mexico. I think he only came in because of an injury, scored the goal, and now he's in the starting lineup.
Well, making the most of your opportunities is the the key there.
Here's Cherundolo again. Lombaya trying to find a way through the left-hand side. The central defender who's been used at left back just recently. Axel Witsel, Benfica player, gets it back in there. Digs out across as well. Di Camargo didn't reach it. Fellaini's got it. Tries to lay it back for the shot. There's Simons. Tremendous effort, beaten away by Tim Howard. And that's the closest either side's come so far.
Well, that's the type of threat that Timmy Simons brings from Nuremberg. You see this from the Belgian side. He's got a way long, good distance away there. Excellent save. Brings the best out of Tim Howard through traffic as well.
Flicked on again. Alderweireld was right under the crossbar almost. He couldn't quite direct it goalwards. Belgium just beginning to turn the screw a little more, but they won't do it like that. It's easy for Tim Howard. Such a reassuring presence at the back for the USA for a long, long time now, over 5 years. Witsel, one or two areas of space beginning to appear. Mertens slipping inside, and this time Belgium are ahead. Is he given? No, flags up. It's not going to count. It's not going to count. Flags up.
No, actually the strike from our angle is difficult, but goes to the side of the goal and bounces into the net there. So he cuts inside against Steve Cherundolo and narrowly just misses that near post, trying to pick him out.
I have to admit, it fooled me.
See Dries Mertens just coming inside there, very dangerous as he cuts. A good build-up from Belgium, and that's a difficult one there. The transition play for the U.S., just closing down the space in midfield, that became a concern.
Witsel. Also for the layback Simons again. There's a bit more of a business-like air about Belgium now. Possession is rather squandered too easily. Hazard inside to Fellaini. Here's Eden Hazard again. He's only 20, still waiting for his first Belgian goal. This is his 21st try tonight. Torres was hustled out of it by Witsel.
You know, I think Robbie Rogers breaks a tackle there, and he goes by Lambert, the number 5 left back, and I'm thinking just take off, push it forward, but he actually cuts it back and puts it to Torres, and he puts him under pressure. I think that maybe an opportunity for Robbie Rogers just to continue play going forward, because the pressure's already been relieved. See again how tight it is in there in the midfield.
Nice football up to a point.
Yeah, I think Josie Altidore needs to take more touches on the ball there, Ian. He's trying to do the one-touch play, just hold it himself.
Dries Mertens. Space is beginning to appear, maybe ominously. Witsel. Hazard again. Low and hard, he wasn't going to squeeze it in there, really. I'm quite sure it was the right option from the youngster that time.
We'll see here as this play builds up from right to left. He's had this a moment ago, trying to cover the cross there. Did very well, Hazard. He's not going to beat Tim Howard near post there. Did very well just to keep his composure, Howard.
Oof. Well, Howard came for that, didn't get there. And that was another close run thing.
Well, you see from Man City, Vincent Kompany comes forward, number 4, and actually flicks over for Bocanegra's head, who's trying to mark him. So Carlos Bocanegra just getting the flick on.
That should have been a corner by the look of things.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It's off for Bocanegra, for sure. Fooled the referee.
Breck with the header on. Need to watch the optical illusions at that end of the pitch quite clearly. Shea's got a head injury now. Oof, painful. ESPN's 2's coverage of the Barclays Premier League continues on Saturday. I shall be on my way to Sunderland, hosting Chelsea, 9:55 a.m. that is, Eastern, slightly later than some of our games, 9:55 in the morning Eastern. Sunderland against Chelsea. That game's available on ESPN3.com as well as ESPN2. Mignolet, the Belgian goalkeeper, will be in action against Chelsea in that one. Jurgen Klinsmann, who scored against Belgium at Soldier Field, Chicago, in the 1994 World Cup in a 3-2 victory. I think there were about 3 goals in the first 10 minutes in that game, as I remember it. And Klinsmann's was one of them.
Excellent goal scorer. Very enthusiastic in terms of the way he plays. Going forward, attacking players, and that's what he's trying to bring to this side.
Witsel. Belgium looking dangerous at the moment. That defence needs plenty of shielding, I would say, at the moment in that area just ahead of the back 4. Big job for Adu to do in there. Does he need a little more assistance? Carl Beckerman is on the bench, the Real Salt Lake player who dashed from a weekend game to be here. Belgium have taken control of this now.
Well, it is in terms of the U.S. too. When they try to go forward, it seems forced at times. It's very tight spaces there, so a little bit more patience from the U.S. in terms of their development coming out of the back is needed.
Simon's long ball is too long for Fellaini, who's not happy about that. That's better service.
This just a moment ago here. You see that little kick to the shins there from Clarence Goodson. Just on Witsel, number 10, creative player through the midfield.
Altidore to Dempsey. Trying to get as much support as they can to Josie Altidore, but he's got a big job up there at the top of the formation up against the experienced Kompany, among others. Witsel's little ball around the side here for Dries Mertens. Oh, great effort from Fellaini, an instinctive save from Howard again. How often has he been the rescue man for the United States?
He's unreal. I mean, that ball comes so hard at him from a close range. How quick does he get his reflexes up? Excellent play by Howard. Well, of course, it's in slow-mo, and it looks easy, but it's not. The great build-up from Belgium. Fellaini just finding open space in there for the first-time volley. Great save from Howard, keeping him in play.
And he has the bragging rights over his Everton teammate.
Exactly.
Wasn't going to let one in against him.
How many times are they going to be bragging back and forth? Well, it's a long time to play still, Ian. But so far, Howard has won up.
By the way, in all of Fellaini's Everton career so far, over 70 appearances, he's never played in front of any other goalkeeper than Tim Howard.
Well, it's amazing when you look at the goalkeeper situation, the connection through Everton. Also, Chris Woods, a friend of mine who I played with at Sheffield Wednesday, his goalkeeper coach at Everton, is here as well.
As
for
a
the
goalkeeper
US.
coach for the US tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. So good experience there.
After Ian Foyer did the job the other night. The Costa Rica game.
Well, see, for the U.S., when they go forward, too, they want Breck Shea really wide, Robbie Rogers wide in that area. But the movement off the ball from other players coming through is gotta help. That's a great ball there, just splitting that from Bocanegra.
Torres to Dempsey. Where can they take it this time? Nice football
Very good patience from the U.S. This is what I was just talking about. Just that 1 extra, 2 extra passes to keep possession, get a little bit of rhythm in their play. To switch it out here to Bocanegra, it's very good.
But not carving out anything much you'd call a chance, other than that rebound from the Dempsey free kick. Timmy Chandler, crossing in needs to be a little better than that. Is Steve Cherundolo. And you can see the idea, but it was always going to be skidding out of play.
So again, it just takes time, those things too, of linking up and finding the give and goes, the little angles in that final third for the U.S. team. Throughout the process of, a lot of people and fans are interested in seeing is how the players perform throughout the process.
These two players, Hazard and Mertens, really showing up with their quick feet and stylish skills. He's lost his feet that time.
Well, his feet are so quick, they just came off. You see here just getting stepped on. We've got a flat tire there.
Bootless in Belgium. But he looks a very, very fine player, Dries Martens. He was allowed to drift down to the 3rd division in Belgium, but now he's making big money moves.
Huge resurgence coming back into the fold here with the Belgian national side and also club-wise.
De Camargo took a horrible knock there. He seemed to hit Goodson rather than the ball. He came off worse as well. Here's Simon. Back to Witsel, whose hairstyle rivals Fellaini's. Not many do. Hazard again. Work towards Simon, and here's Witsel once more. They do have some good players, Belgium. I think they would illuminate the European Championships were they to make it, but it is odds against. Turkey, by the way, their big rivals are drawing 0-0, nearly half-time, away to Austria so far. And that's the scoreline here as well. De Camargo's still struggling. Here's why.
Well, you see here, this is the first challenge from Maurice Edu of Rangers, and then the bit of skill.
Hazard with the cross in. Sorry to interrupt, John. Things happening in the penalty area. Alderweireld. Howard got a touch on that one. Mertens again, he's a real handful. He's not going to get away with that. He's everywhere though, isn't he, this fella?
Yeah, actually he was asking for the foul because he thought that Robbie Rogers impeded him as the shove right there. But as he leans in, Robbie Rogers, that's where the arm comes around from Mertens and just pulls him down. Good call out of the ref.
I think he felt he was fouled first, didn't he? That's Hazard earlier. Look at that.
Yeah, a bit of showing off. And this one here was a challenge earlier showing, and then as he picks it up, he goes and tries a nutmeg. And gets it done against Maurice Edu. Back to live action now.
What they've got to show the United States here, I think, is some real bottle and character. There's been a lot of talk of positive thinking, creating chances, goal scoring. Here, I think they're going to really have to dig in and see if they can come up with a result they can be proud of away from home. And that's how it might be with a lot of those CONCACAF qualifiers as well. De Camargo will do well to keep Belgium out here because they look very, very creative around the edge of the box. It's great stuff. Fellaini, who really wants to put one past his mate Tim Howard.
Well, they're finding the ball movement very quick and crisp. The one-touch play here, they are a bit lucky here. Here's a one-touch right now, laid back again, and the strike from distance was off. But again, like you said, going back to the U.S., it is about the character. It's a test, but you're also looking to, as you observe, you're looking for improvement from game to game under Klinsmann. A little bit of improvement from last week against Costa Rica, and they come out here tonight against Belgium, away from home, different environment.
Mertens, nope. Tim Howard's again. I tell you what, there's a lot of countries around this planet who wouldn't mind Tim Howard as their goalkeeper. There's the 20-year-old Hazard again. This time it breaks down. I'm just wondering, do the US need another defensive midfielder alongside Adu there. Do they have to think about getting Beckham out there
well,
at some point?
It's tactically a different formation. Again, you have two players that hold in front, but you want to be able to express yourself and get forward, even like Maurice Edu. You don't want the shackles on top of a player like Maurice Edu, because in a 4-4-2 under Ali McCoy's at Rangers, he does have freedom to go forward in a pulley system when he can. So one holds, one goes. But here he's told to hold just in front.
Got to get to the break level here, the US. De Camargo turning on the party pieces a little bit as well. The Belgians now. Vincent Kompany coming forward. Now, can they break quickly here? Led by Clint Dempsey, the US. Very little support. He did find Altidore well. Now Torres.
Very good ball from Torres.
Now, where can they take this? It's Robbie Rogers for the US. Running against the tough, rugged Simons, a defensive midfielder who is basically just not going to let him pass by fair means or foul. As it happened, it was foul.
Well, again, this is the second time where Robbie Rogers has tried to run down that wing, and he's drawn a foul. Set up another free kick for the US.
Well, wouldn't it be something if the US could pinch a goal here some way against the run of play? Only one goal so far in the Klinsmann reign, a very short reign of 2.5 matches. It's going to be Torres to take it. He caused a problem or two from a similar kind of angle with his left foot earlier on. A lot of white shirts to aim at if they can get it right. Nearly. Gerundelo's ball finds Torres, whose control was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now then, here's Robbie Rogers. Maurice Edu. It's an air shot, but he's still got the ball. But the kick goes Belgium's way.
Well, it was a bit of a shame there. Unfortunate for Maurice Edu, but good build-up, and what a great touch it was on the wing from Torres. You talked about him bringing it down from Steve Gerundelo's long ball. It was an excellent build-up from the US there.
Coming up at half-time, joined Bob Lee, Alexi Lalas and Taylor Twellman back in the studio. We'll be looking at the US changes under Klinsmann and the European Championships qualifiers. Update of all the latest info. A lot of games happening right now. Hazard just feeling an injury there. Just caught, wasn't he? Hope he stays on the pitch from a neutral point of view, simply so we can be delighted by his skills more. Fellaini hustles it away from Clint Dempsey. Away by Carlos Bocanegra. This is a tough assignment, as we keep saying, for the US, not only because they're playing decent opposition away from home in Europe, but also because of maybe the jet lag factor as well. These two games very close together, 9 time zones apart. And Hazard saw a little gap, but fired it into the side netting.
Well, it's interesting from Belgium as they push forward, even Kompany's coming forward into the box. They still leave 3 back. 2 outside backs tuck inside, and then you'll see, you know, Simons, he'll just sit in front there, so it allows Kompany to come forward. Another threat coming late.
Tim Howard's been the hero for the US, making sure that so far it's been a shutout for the USA, but this could continue to be hard work. De Camargo had strayed yards offside, but it's come back to Hazard again. De Camargo. One of the problems Belgium have is their final game in the group is away to Germany, who've already qualified with a 100% record. I don't know whether the Germans might feel a slightly weakened side there But that would be political dynamite because there are so many Turks around in Germany. But that would be a hullabaloo if they made it a bit easier for Belgium, Turkey's big rivals. Clarence Goodson, tallest player in the squad at 6'4", this particular squad anyway. Cherundolo. Goodson again, Torres. Doing his best to be the creator. That's a nice range of passing that he has, and hits Breck Shea. And easily away by Lambert. It's going to be a minute of stoppage time, and maybe the US will need that whistle in to get in and regroup. Maybe some fresh legs from the bench. 6 substitutes allowed, of course, this being a friendly match. But make no mistake about it, Belgium want a home win here, and that's slid wide of the post by Martens. He only won his first cap back in February. You'd never believe it. One of the stars of the half. That is half-time. Tim Howard, a star. The US holding on in what is a difficult assignment in the rain in Belgium. Howard's been a real star. Just some of the incidents in that first half. That was as close as the US had come, that rebound. Analysis coming up at half-time. See you then.
On a rainy evening in Brussels, a little frustration so far, but still I think finding the back of the net. And so far, again, Jose Torres, some good vision. And that man, Tim Howard, the reason that match is level right now. No score between Belgium and the United States. We are goalless, along with Taylor Twelman, Alexi Lalas. I'm Bob Lee. What did we see in the first 45 minutes? We want to see possession soccer from the United States. We've seen that, and the Belgians attacked, and the United States equal to it.
Yeah, I thought there were some moments of possession that mirrored the game against Costa Rica, against a better opponent. Like I said, more speed and more pressure. I thought Torres in the midfield had some opportunities. I think we're also seeing a tired team, but I think it also comes back to something that we touched on earlier, is that final pass and that final opportunity. All that passing is fine and well, but you got to get some opportunities on goal.
Bob said it best, though. If Tim Howard's not net, this is probably a 2-0 game.
Yeah, he's been two tremendous saves. Yeah.
But that's what he's there to do. I mean, he's Tim Howard.
He is, but you can't, at some
it's a
point,
good team. He's got to make the saves. Exactly.
At some point, he's not going to.
And on the other end, they got to figure out how to score some goals.
All right, let's go to the 2.5 match scorecard, the grading report now on the Jurgen Klinsmann era. Oh, this is an unforgiving soccer culture. I mean, 2.5 matches in. Things we needed to see as a soccer culture in this country, and things that Jurgen Klinsmann talked about coming in as he took this job, and you touched on it already, keeping the ball, doing things with it.
Keeping the ball, possession, a commitment to possession, an understanding of when to go forward and when not to go forward. When we check out a game against Costa Rica, okay, it's against Costa Rica, but you still have to be able to do things. Passes, all right, lots of passes, which is wonderful, but look at this. This all started off the U.S. winning the ball back. Quickly winning the ball back in possession, changing the field of play, finding options, having your opposition move around. All right, you get a little bit of lucky, interchanging, late running, ball out wide, finding men. Landon Donovan plays in to Josie Altidore. Okay, didn't finish it off, but there was some patience and there was some understanding and that possession that Jurgen Klinsmann has been talking about.
Yeah, Altidore, the only forward up there. I bet.
Exactly. Now, you can have all that possession you want. The ball goes out to Breck Shea. Yes, the final cross is not good enough. There's one guy in the box against 3 defenders. Look at this. Breck Shea's out wide. Look at Josie Altidore. 1, 2, 3, 4 jerseys against 1. I know Robbie Rogers coming in late. Now look, Timothy Chandler, that's 2 against 7. That's not good enough. And if you want to score goals, you've got to have better numbers in the box. I know the final pass is lacking, but at the end of the day, they're outnumbered in the 18-yard box.
Is this team strong enough defensively to make that offensive commitment, especially on the road in Europe, to put more people forward?
This game right now is screaming for a 4-4-2, 2 defensive midfielders. Let Dempsey get on the ball. Josie needs help. And everyone says, where's Josie? Well, he's on an island by himself. There's no one supporting him coming out of the midfield.
I think Josie's done a good job. I think Clint Dempsey has done a good job, especially in the first 20 minutes of becoming involved. Still no wide play. I mean, you have Breck Shea and Robbie Rogers, who I didn't didn't think had a particularly good half. I'd like to see a lot more wide play. And then, as you said, once those opportunities come, make sure there's getting crosses. But
you and I were talking about it. When you have Timothy Chandler, naturally right-footed left back, Robbie Rogers, naturally left-footed, playing right wing, they're naturally going to cut inside. They're not going to get your width going down to the end line cross.
Well, just because you're right-footed, if you're playing right back, as Timmy Chandler is doing right now, doesn't mean you have to hit every ball with your right foot. Sometimes he's opening up and hitting it with his right foot. You got to be able to play with your left foot if you're a soccer player, even if you're right-footed.
I agree.
Well, the short history of Jurgen Klinsmann, by the way, does not suggest we're going to see massive substitutions at halftime. You get 6 per side. He only made 2 on Friday evening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we're going to see a whole lot. And once again, it goes back to that fitness. He wants to have these guys play through difficult times.
Well, of course, this match, and then looking ahead towards next month, Honduras is the opposition. A team from World Cup 2010 that'll be played in Miami, and a date to be scheduled on October 11th. So the international fixture date's beckoning, and Jurgen Klinsmann saying he wants to put his team through the paces, work on the fitness, and all the things we just discussed here at the desk. Well, a sad day for the American soccer family, as American soccer enthusiasts and fans and players and executives everywhere mourn the passing of Bobby Ryan, an MLS mainstay, the face of Dallas FC, is a longtime player and recently a broadcaster. He had made the move from color commentator to play-by-play, dead of an apparent heart attack yesterday at the age of 35. He leaves a wife and 2 children throughout all of American soccer. Thoughts today with his family. Bobby Ryan, gone. EPL action. Sunderland, middle of the table. Chelsea right now sitting 4th. Ian and Mac have the action. 9:55 Eastern, 6:55 Pacific time. It is qualification day, match day around European 2012. Now, this is a big match at Austria-Turkey for the Belgians. Right now, Turkey lead them in their group. Great point today for the Irish at Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. Italy in a position to clinch their group against Slovenia. The French lead their group right now, are scoreless with Romania. The Dutch, they have defeated Finland. Depending on what Sweden do later, Dutch might clinch their group. What's going on with the...
I know. Look at Alexi shaking his head.
He's bobbing here.
Lazio, where is it?
Silence, young man.
And the Greeks lead their group, we are reliably told. All right, maybe they'll pull it together for you. Ashley Young's goal first half. England leading Wales at Wembley 1-0. And we would think the Spanish would defeat the Liechtenstein squad, and that would put the world and European champs through to the finals. Tim Howard has been called upon. That and another great reflexive save in front as well. Scoreless, back to Brussels in a moment.
Welcome back to Brussels. Half-time score here. Belgium 0, the United States 0. So far, so good for Jurgen Klinsmann's side. And the USA have only won 15 times out of 75 in Europe over the years, which is not too many. Juan Agudelo is getting ready to come on, maybe in place of Josie Altidore for the second half. We might see Kyle Beckerman sooner rather than later as well. Agudelo, who looked lively, coming on twice as a substitute recently, and will be thinking that maybe it's time he showed everybody what he could do starting in the side. Had an explosive start to his international career with a goal in South Africa when he was only 17 years old, and also got one against Argentina too, and that was worth a good draw for the USA. In a moment, we can go down to Rob Stone, who I think has some news for us from the Jurgen Klinsmann camp, but not just for the moment. The rain still slanting down across this stadium. Tim Howard doing very well in that first half. I wonder how many changes Belgium might make. And they've got half an ear, well, more than half an ear on what happens to their big group rivals, Turkey, in Austria tonight. That one was goalless the last time that we heard. Players on their way. That's on company of Manchester City leading out Belgium for the second half. The only time the United States have ever beaten Belgium, and there's only been 3 meetings, was 81 years ago at the 1930 World Cup, when the USA won by 3-0. Thomas Flory, Bert Paternaud and Bart McGee scoring the goals for the USA. Long time ago, 1930, the first ever World Cup. That game was played in Montevideo in Uruguay. And the USA slow out for work for the second half. And we think there'll be at least one change made straight away. And that's right, I can't see Josie Altidore, so it looks like Agudelo will replace him. And I wonder whether they'll try to give Maurice Edu a little bit more support in the defensive midfield position to shield that defence, because Hazard and Mertens in particular look like the architects of plenty of trouble. Witsel as well, to some extent. Tim Howard, who was in the last USA side to win in Europe. That was 3-0 against Poland in 2008. Carlos Bocanegra played as well. So did Clint Dempsey, and so did Steve Cherundolo. So they know what it's like to win in Europe. We'll try to get Jurgen Klinsmann's take on things via our sideline reporter Rob Stone in just a moment, and I think Rob's just about ready for us. Well, we seem to have some problems getting hold of Rob Stone down there. I think he's ready now. I think the gremlins have gone. Rob, what's the news?
We just talked with Jurgen Klinsmann. You saw the two subs, Beckerman coming in, Juan Agudelo coming up. I noticed Josie Altidore coming off the pitch. He was the last man off the field, took his shirt off in the hallway, was kind of almost staggering through the hallway to the locker room, and Coach Klinsmann said that he just doesn't have it in his legs right now to give us another half. So Agudelo goes up top. Clint Dempsey's going to be pushed out a little bit more wide right so he can see more of the ball, get away from Simmons, who's really been nipping at his heels, taking him out at the ankles and whatnot. Of course, we see Kyle Beckerman in there as well, guys. Some of the key changes Coach is looking for: a more compact middle and just get a little bit more active up front. Again, guys, that was one of his focuses: get wide and be active in the box. Did not see any of that in Jurgen's mind after the opening 20 minutes of the half, guys.
Thanks, Rob. Lombert's taken a knock there straight away from Agudelo, who's introduced himself straight away by leaving a mark, as the pros say, on one of his opponents.
You see Agudelo very hungry to show what he can do under Jurgen Klinsmann. We certainly need to hold the ball a little bit more up front and link up and bring players into the game, as the U.S. try to go in transition from defense to the attack. Agudelo hoping to help out in that regard.
Torres's layoff doesn't work. It was picked off by Fellaini. Now Witsel of Benfica. Cherundolo. Will that be costly? No. Great recovery from the Hanover defender.
They did very well. You see Mertens almost getting on the end of that one.
Lombert to curl one in. Howard has to watch it. No problems in the end. Kyle Beckerman, just to confirm what Rob Stone was saying, on as well for Robbie Rogers. So I think that's a good change. They've given Edu some help in there, just in front of the defence. He needed it because there's some players, tricky players, causing all kinds of havoc in the later stages of the first half.
Yeah, they were, but just in terms of the attack there, if Timmy Chandler plays that ball a little bit harder in front of Brek Shea, he can run onto it and turn the corner. You have to kind of wait for it. It's a good run now.
Shea getting to the byline really for the first time, and Beckerman letting one go. He scored from 20 yards for Real Salt Lake the other day.
I was going to say, good run here, very confident in terms of getting around that back corner from Brek Shea. Was very good, but the confidence right now that goes through Kyle Beckerman playing at Real Salt Lake. Great goal it was against Philadelphia Union. Excellent cut inside, ripped one to the upper 90 back post. See him getting early on. Both Agudelo trying to get involved, and also Beckerman so far in the second half.
Adu. Forward to Breck Shea. Can the US ask some questions of the Belgian defence? Not like that, they won't. Possession given away rather too easily, and it can sometimes be hard to get it back against Simon coming storming forward from right back.
Well, it's a very challenge indeed. You see Clarence Goodson reads this and comes across to clear it. Just leaving the boots a little bit. He wanted to make sure he got over him.
Here's Hazard. Cutting inside. Cherundolo did well not to foul him. Stick out a leg because he'd have gone over and it would have been a penalty. Good experience that from Steve Cherundolo to just lay out, as it were. Here's Agudelo.
Very well done in a tight space. Keeping possession for the US. That's very well done.
Shea looks to hold it up. It's going to be dragged back for a free kick.
Going to call the initial foul there.
That's tonight's substitution, fueled by Gatorade. Kyle Beckerman coming on to replace Robbie Rogers in the second half. He only arrived 36 hours ago, having played at the weekend for Real Salt Lake. He didn't travel with the rest of the party. Shea, brighter start of the second half from him, takes on Alderweireld and gets the cross in towards Dempsey, but Mignolet can take that out the air. This is better from the USA, a little more aggressive.
Very aggressive, and it was a great turn on the ball from first touch to second touch from Breck Shea. That's excellent work right there, and he just turned and he ran it at the opposition. Wanted to take players on, still got the cross in under pressure. Breck Shea doing a very good job. Only his 5th time playing tonight, 5th cap. 21 years old.
This is the trickery of Eden Hazard. That Cherundolo put his arm against his shirt, quickly realised that wasn't a smart idea either. He looks some talent. Dempsey. Up towards Agudelo, needs some support. Where are the cavalry? And you were making the point when we were talking this morning about this game. The USA, they're on a learning curve. It's a transitional period. But you don't want to keep losing in the transitional period, because then the upbeat mood and the confidence goes, doesn't it? And I spoke to Carlos Bocanegra, the captain, about that yesterday. He said, yeah, spot on. We were heartbroken to lose to Costa Rica. We don't want to be losing football matches, which is a statement of the obvious, but it's a tricky plate spinning job to keep learning while picking up enough good results.
No, it is. It's hard to find that balance too when you're constantly trying to be competitive side and get the result. The overall big picture of assessing talent and the players individually is very important too. So you'd like to see that go hand in hand, but it's very hard to do sometimes.
It's a good quote from Jurgen Klinsmann yesterday. He said, "I'm not a good loser."
I don't know who is.
He didn't have a lot of practice, of course, did he, when he was playing? Witsel to Fellaini, and here comes the cross. Hazard's got a bit of room and has run it out of play, and the US breathe again.
That was good, because Bocanegra recognized right away how much Fellaini had the space to get the cross in. Put the pressure on here. It's not good to break out, though. That's better. Steve Cherundolo doing a good job to close on the back post.
Adu to Shea. Charlotte to his outside. Shea thinks about the shot, and in the end that was massive disappointment, really.
Well, the decision-making process as a young player too, you know, sometimes he scores those goals for FC Dallas. He's shown that this season that he can score, and really he needed to have a little bit more patience there and just lay that ball off. And Timmy Chandler, who's overlapping from the left back position.
Back to Mignolet. Rob Stone has a bit more news for us.
Well, Ian, John, you guys were talking about that shot there by Breck Shea. The only and first guy jumping on up, clapping. his coach, Jurgen Klinsmann, that's exactly what he was telling us yesterday. I don't care if the ball goes 20 yards over the crossbar. I want my guys shooting. I want them going after defenders. So he is there, and he's being very supportive. As ugly as that shot may have been, the coach was in favor of it, guys.
So he should be. I mean, that's the type of advanced play that you want to see. Very assertive in getting forward, but still, Chandler in a good position. Could have received it.
So he might have been the only one applauding. But I know what he means. Another time, it might be a real rocket. It ends up in the roof of the net.
Yeah, you take those chances. Sometimes it goes in.
Here's Dempsey. Running into trouble. Slightly different role to the one he occupies usually at Fulham, where he tends to be played wide on the left. Jurgen Klinsmann here. Love to be flying back to California with a result the team can be proud of. It's cut out by Simons. He does that so well. Mertens, lovely quick feet. That's a terrific player. Simon. Mertens. Turning, twisting. That's really good recovery play. And it will be a corner kick.
Very good defensive play by Maurice Edu. You see the skill level, though, of Mertens and how quickly he can turn on a dime. Very sharp on the ball.
Here comes the corner kick. US defending strong and resolute again. There will be some tired legs. That Friday night game on the west coast of the United States, and this game coming up only 4 days later with a 10.5-hour flight in between. Oh, it's a cracking goal into the back of the net. Nicolas Lombard, and the USA are undone. Nothing Tim Howard could do that time.
We see the long throw, and it's cleared only halfway. He just hits it first time. Through the traffic, Tim Howard gets a hand to it. But on the surface, wet conditions, it finds its way to the back of the net. It really wasn't picked up. There was some pressure there on top of it. Just made the most of the opportunity. It was half cleared by the U.S. Great strike from Lombard. Only a second goal for Belgium in the 16th game.
The former legal student from Ghent University putting Belgium ahead with a long-range effort. And I think Tim Howard saw that late. It came through bodies. So the resistance is broken. Belgium aghast that was given against them. Company to get it away. The US now have to chase the game a little while making sure they don't leave too many spaces behind for the likes of Hazard and Mertens to exploit.
Well, I do like tactically, though, just that little bit of a change to allow Torres to be the high midfielder. He can also put pressure on players, even there, just flicking the ball on, and leaving Beckerman in there to kind of shore up that midfield with Maurice Edu and share the responsibility. A lot of space there in the first half.
Goodson did enough. Here's Cherundolo for the USA. They've made a good argument of this so far, the USA, but now it's a question of whether they can find the creativity. Here's the goal again. How many times have the US conceded the first goal in matches over the last year or two, maybe longer than that.
Well, it's sort of a comfort zone you don't want to find yourself in. You know, you don't want to get to a point where you're always looking to come back in games. Well, as you said early on, Ian, we knew it was going to be difficult conditions here coming against this Belgium side. They know they shouldn't have drawn either that last match against Azerbaijan. The last match too, so they come out here with a little bit of vengeance. They want to play better.
A reminder that the US women's team is back in action on ESPN2 against Canada on Thursday, September the 22nd. Note that date. Abby Wambach, Hope Solo and the rest. US v Canada available too on ESPN3.com. 11 Eastern is the time for that one. September the 22nd. A disappointed Marouane Fellaini. Looks like the lead singer of one of those 1970s rock bands. Second spell in charge for Georges Lakens. He took Belgium to the 1998 World Cup finals and has generally had more clubs than Jack Nicklaus, to use the old line. Chandler thinks about the shot. Agudelo nearly managed to turn it goalwards with a deft touch, but Company was keeping him company.
Well, it's good to see that Agudelo still hungry and really instinctually just looking to get on the end of this. Timmy Chandler finds some space, doesn't strike the ball well. Still, he puts it into a dangerous area, and you see Agudelo doing the rest to at least draw some type of attention, lead to this corner. Vincent Company breaking up the play. There's Agudelo. A lot of energy so far in the second half from him up front.
Torres with the corner. Not properly defended really by Simon. Kept alive by Edu. Torres to play it back in again. Goodson couldn't reach it. And neither could Dempsey in the end. This little fellow Mertens has such quick feet, doesn't he? Still Austria 0, Turkey 0 in a match affecting Belgium's group. Now then, De Camargo, former Standard Liège player, now at Borussia Mönchengladbach, where he was a teammate of Michael Bradley. Bradley's now moved on to Italy. Not included in this current roster, but you'd expect him to come back. Alderweireld's long ball wasn't intended for Mertens, but found him anyway. Torres, who plays for Pachuca in Mexico, to FC Dallas's Breck Shea. Game kicks a decent pass, Torres.
Very good late run here from Steve Cherundolo.
They need to get bodies in the penalty area here. And Cherundolo's cross is a bit of a tame one, in all honesty, that time.
Yeah, he came late. Good vision from Dempsey to put him into the space there. Unfortunately, the final ball just not connecting.
Now they're lining up the substitutes here. Belgium, they're going to arrive in a posse by the look of things. I think Lukaku, the teenager who's just been signed by Chelsea, is one of those.
Only 18 years old still. Romelu Lukaku.
De Camargo's going to come off. And Hubert is going to come on for Fellaini. And Ogunjimi is going to replace Hazard, who's impressed mightily.
He's done very well.
That's the first of many, many substitutions that we could have here. US have already made 2. That's 3 for Belgium. That means Belgium have got another 3 and the US another 4, possibly. Though Jurgen Klinsmann only made 2 substitutions the other night, didn't he?
Well, he did, yeah. He still has options on the bench. Jeff Laurentowicz. Sasha Kleshin, who plays Anderlecht. Michael Orozco-Fiscal and Tim Ream. Tim Ream's here on the trip. He's not involved on the bench. Jonathan Spector is. That gap right there from the U.S. needs to be closed up a little bit more. And Juan Agudelo trying to apply more pressure to the back line. Just needs to be closed up there. That second ball dropping in midfield.
By the way, it's been quite a night for Ireland, who picked up a point in Russia. And in the same group, Slovakia 0, Armenia 4 is a result. That's an incredible one. And that really does help Ireland in their bid to get to the European Championship finals. Goodness me. Here's Agudelo. Agudelo tries to just find him a little more invention, cleverness. But the USA goal scoring, there's no doubt about it, this huge problem as Hazard goes off there. In the last 20 internationals, John, they've never scored more than 2 goals in a match.
I'm not sure how to read into that, Ian.
Well,
they hold back, or they're just not good enough to get forward and finish it off and get the third?
the last time they scored 3 was against Australia just before the World Cup in South Africa. Here's Lukaku. Crowd like him. Moved from Anderlecht, one of the giants of Belgian football, to Chelsea. Lombert, the goal scorer. A rare one from him. Possibly a little unlucky for the United States that it was a long-range effort. Although the players who've come on, Ogunjimi has got 4 goals in his first 4 internationals.
He's done very well. He and Hubert both play again. Defending champions here in Belgium from last year.
Referee inadvertently in the way, didn't matter too much. So Ogunjimi playing it inside towards Witsel. Nice movement from the Belgians.
Mertens just with that last touch, he was trying to feed through Lukaku.
Poland are leading Germany via 1-0. That's a friendly game. Germany have already qualified.
Impressively qualified. 8 out of 8. I think the Netherlands have an opportunity to do that as well.
Yeah, they'll take some stopping Germany. But of course there's the likes of Spain around as well, and improving France and Italy. Looks like England might make it. Say it no stronger than that. Should do. England 1 up against Wales. Last time we heard Ashley Young scoring. So can the United States find a bit of attacking menace here? They've been kept at arm's length really by Belgium in truth at the moment. Beckerman finds Maurice Edu. Edu was only ever used as a substitute in the Gold Cup. Just lost favour with Bob Bradley in the later stages of his reign. Chandler looking to make headway down that left-hand side.
That's promising.
Have you liked the look of Chandler in the left-back position?
He's done okay. I think defensively, one-on-one, he's had some challenges, but coming forward out of the back, very late runs, he's done pretty well, and linking up. It's difficult, too, because you see when the U.S. do have good pockets of possession, that Belgium really get everybody back behind the ball, so they're trying to congest that area, too, and block the U.S. attempts getting into that final third.
Torres, quite sure he meant that. It's a good little spell of passing from the USA. But can they find a bit of punch?
Well, you just want players in those advanced positions wide and kind of opening up. Right now, it's very congested through the middle. And that's better. Just switching the point of attack is very good here.
Chandler. No. Ends up on the wet athletics track, which circles the stadium here. It's where they stage one of the famous track meets, the Ivo van Dam Memorial, named after a renowned Belgian middle distance Olympic medalist who was killed in a car crash. Company with the chip forward towards Lukaku. Goodson had to play safe in the end. $32 million it could work out in the end and elect to Chelsea for Romelu Lukaku.
Well, he's been capped. This is his 11th cap tonight. He scored 2 goals already.
He's got 15 league goals in Belgium when he
Yeah.
was just 16 years old.
Unbelievable, right? 18 years old right now. Very bright future, but doing so well.
Now, wondering if he's the new Didier Drogba
Ah.
at Chelsea. Looks a bit like him, a younger version, of course. But quite a talent, and obviously with an eye for goal. Now it's Company's challenge, which wasn't too smart on Agudelo. I think actually if that had been this had been a qualifier, that might have been a yellow.
Yeah, he came in very late and behind. You know, Agudelo trying to shine in those little pockets there in between the midfield and the defense, pulling off that back line. But at times he's up there on his own again. You want Clint Dempsey to push up a little bit higher if he can. Allow Maurice Edu to come forward and Torres from that deep position in the midfield.
Shea battling away well. Gets a crossing towards Agudelo on the near post.
We got a corner out of it. Referee got sold on that one there, but great persistent run. Never give up attitude there from Breck Shea, just to keep it alive for the U.S. Agudelo trying to get across the near post. We've seen Breck Shea connect so many times with FC Dallas there with that service. Company was in a good position. Did look like it came off of Juan Agudelo.
Here's the corner kick. It's not a great one really by Torres. It's come out to Steve Cherundolo. Now Carl Beckerman. Dempsey. Great play. Couldn't quite pass it into the corner.
A great bit of skill and deception to create enough space on the first one. Just faking that to the back post there. He cuts this ball very hard through. Simon overcommitted, the number 2 from Belgium.
Cherundolo cut out Lukaku's attempted forward thrust.
Good defending there from Steve Cherundolo. Very, very solid tonight.
Witsel again. Lukaku. Cut out by Clarence Goodson. The US have to hang on, make sure they don't concede anymore. You never know. Something might just drop for Dempsey or Agudelo or one of the others.
We just spoke about a yellow card. That should be a yellow card right there because he's come right over the top of Agudelo. It's Agudelo just being brave. And you talked about, you know, Lukaku, can he be the next Drogba? Having courage? Well, Agudelo showing some courage right now, holding the ball up and checking for it.
Only 18, the New York Red Bulls man, and wearing the number 18. Shea. ESPN2's coverage of the Barclays Premier League continues on Saturday as Sunderland hosts Chelsea. That's 9:55 a.m. Eastern. Available too on ESPN3.com. Chelsea have had a decent start in terms of results, but have not always looked that convincing so far. Mertens, and that falls for Tim Howard. The goal came from an unexpected source. A long-range effort from a defender.
Yeah, I mean, you got the strike at the top of the 18, Ian. Sometimes those things happen on set pieces. It was a long throw, not cleared all the way. He just pounced on it. And it was through traffic, so it was difficult for Tim Howard to see it through there. Still was able to get a hand on it.
Lukaku, well played by Maurice Edu. Tracking back. Coach will be pleased with that work. going to see Jeff Laurentowicz soon. Getting ready to win his second cap. Midfield player who was about to come on against Costa Rica, and then they changed their mind. Changed their mind after Costa Rica got the goal, so there was a tactical rethink, which was unlucky for Jeff. Company to chip it forward towards Ogunjibi. Free kicks given here in favour of Belgium. Chirundolo is not too impressed by that. Dries Mertens is going to take it, although Witsel is in a fair bit of space to his right, and the US better be alive to that, because there's a bit of a gap.
It's a huge gap. Nobody stepped into that ball. I mean, if he plays through, I would think that Kyle Beckerman would have to come off the wall quickly to close that down for a shot.
Played in by Mertens. He didn't use Witsel. It looked inviting from our angle. I think it's going to be Jose Torres who comes off to make way for Laurentowicz. He's for the MLS champions, Colorado Rapids. Laurentowicz, good, solid MLS player for a long time, John.
Yeah, he does very well at winning the ball and stepping forward. You see Chirundolo just on the back end of this. He steps on his heel and then reaches around the other side. He's under pressure as he receives that ball. They're closing down the spaces quickly, so it's got to be somebody in support. The angles, just a one-touch ball off maybe through the midfield. He said Torres could be coming off right now. It's a great run over the top.
Canegro's ball, but unlucky really. It hit Shea on the back of the heel when he got in behind too.
Yeah, it was a good ball from Bocanegra, trying to lead. Breck Shea over there just came off the back of him. Needed to be harder into space.
Simon was the player who took a knock. No Landon Donovan, of course. Tonight he was allowed to play last night for LA Galaxy against Kansas, a 2-2 draw. I think they only used him in the second half of that one.
Yeah, 30 minutes actually he played.
There is Laurentowicz, about to make his introduction, only his second cap. The other one back in January against Chile. That was a draw. Torres making way. Ogunjibi was the player who flicked it on for Belgium, who lead here by 1-0-0. Shame for the USA, really, because they haven't given Belgium too many sights of goal in this second half, other than the one that went in.
No, I agree. There was a flurry of combinations near the top of the 18 in the first half where Belgium looked like they were linking up very smooth, fluid play in that transition. But so far, they seem to be kind of happy just sitting on the 1-0 lead right now. When the U.S. good possession right here, you see Belgium really dropping back into their own half, leaving Lukaku all the way up front on his own.
Here's Chirundolo. Goodson ball was easily cut out. Ogunjibi looking to bend one in behind towards Mertens. Good idea. Let's hear from Rob Stone.
Well, guys, Jurgen Klinsmann's European vacation is going to continue another week after this game. Tomorrow he's going to head to England and see Stuart Holden in action in the reserve game with Bolton. Thursday, he's going to head on over to Everton and speak with the club that Timmy Howard plays for. Fabian Johnson and his team staff is next. Saturday, he'll see Cherundolo in action in Stuttgart and also see some family there. Up next for the U.S. guys, 2 home dates in October. The first has been announced in Miami. The second has not. And then 2 dates in mid-November. As of now, it's looking to be a European trip. So much more still left in this calendar year for Coach Klinsmann.
Thanks, Rob. Fascinating to see if one of those European games in November is against his home nation, Germany. It wouldn't take too much selling, would it?
No, not much at all, actually.
Ogunjimi. They do have a good new generation here, I think. Belgium. 4th corner for them here.
They did very well just to get a corner there off of Cherundolo. Pretty smart play.
When you think of the players they used to have, like Enzo Schifo, Luc Nielis, Frankie van der Elst, Jan Keulemans, Eric Herritz, and that great goalkeeper Jean-Marie Pfaff. Remember him?
Excellent. Enzo Schifo being one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Great skill.
Beating Argentina in the opening game of the 1982 World Cup, causing a bit of a stir. Well defended by Bocanegra, and then Beckerman helped it forward. Agudelo is a lone raider here, but has engineered a bit of space for himself. Now others are arriving. Agudelo goes down in the box. Never any question that was going to be a penalty kick, and the opportunity goes away. Pity.
Well, first of all, he did very well to put him in position from the Beckerman clear. He keeps possession of it. Here he is on the ball again. He wants the ball, which is very good from an 18-year-old player.
Dempsey still battling away, keeps it alive. Now then, Brexhay needs to do something quicker, and that's really good covering from Alderweireld.
I like the way the ball's being moved about, though, from the U.S. It's really quick thinking, 1 touch, 2 touch, get it out the other side, on the weak side to Brexhay.
Adu. Simon's getting a foot in. Belgium will be quite pleased to hear that Turkey haven't won in Austria. It's goalless, and Turkey missed a penalty in that game in the last minute, so Belgium's hopes are still alive in that group.
Still only a point difference right now. 2 points. 2 points now with the draw. With the draw, 2 points now.
2 points, but they now played the same number of games. It might be that Belgium have to win in Germany in their last game to make it. All to be decided about a month from now. Belgium's next game here is Kazakhstan at home. They ought to win that pretty comfortably. Then it's Germany away. The Turks have Germany at home and also Azerbaijan at home. So it might be that both teams get 3 points, and that'll be enough for the Turks to get second place in the group behind Germany. Chandler, Laurentowicz.
Well, you know, in the build-up, too, you look at, like, if Laurentowicz is going to be sitting in there as, like, one of the holding players next to Maurice Edu, then where does Beckerman go? So you got Maurice Edu, Beckerman, and Jeff Laurentowicz now on there. So between the 3 of them, one of them has to push forward. Maybe Maurice Edu gets a little bit more room to get forward like he does at Rangers, and that would be quite good. Because really what's lacking is a runner from the midfield that's going to open up in behind.
Lukaku. Bocanegra for company. Lays it back to Witsel. Deflected and wide of the post. And deflected off Cherundolo. You wondered where that was ending up from this angle anyway.
Well, it was a good break in terms of the counter-attack. Lukaku does well to cut back and just lay it to the top of the 18. A strike that deflects, and really, when you looked at Howard, he was frozen. He couldn't get to anything. But I think it came off of Steve Cherundolo. Yeah, off of Cherundolo.
That's one of those, when your luck's out, it nestles in the corner with the goalkeeper wrong-footed. Mertens. Company attacking it on the near post.
Yeah, good challenge there from Bocanegra. Just enough. He's bumping. He's getting really strong on top of Company, just to put him off. It's good marking. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with Juan Agudelo coming on the second half. He's done well to show up there. At times he's been on his own, 1 against 3. There he is again, holding the ball. He put himself in good spots.
Laurentowicz did well there. Because you have to think what the team would look like with Landon Donovan playing with Dempsey, Stuart Holden maybe coming into the midfield, which would certainly beef things up. And it's good to hear that report from Rob Stone that Holden there's a reserve game that Jurgen Klinsmann's going to see, a Bolton reserve game coming up with Holden featuring after a long injury.
Well, he's actually kind of feathering his cap. He's coming back a little bit earlier than first thought.
Beckerman. Can the USA claw back an equaliser late on here? If they did, it would be a really good result. Agudelo, well played. Chirundolo needs more in there, attacking this ball. Too long for Dempsey and for Shea as well, but they were the only 2 white shirts to aim at.
Yeah, it was a great combination play. Again, you see Juan Agudelo showing up there for that. What a great ball this is. Oof. Lucky that one ran out of play. You see Witsel is looking to break in behind there on the weak side.
Witsel actually missed a penalty here when Belgium played Turkey, and it was a 1-1 draw. Things could have been pretty different for Belgium in that group had that gone in. '21st cap for Witsel tonight. He's already scored 5 goals from midfield. See why too. Looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah, very good.
It's just a little indication of how big the standard is going to be at the European Championship finals next year, when teams like Belgium might well not make it.
It's going to be difficult to go away in Germany and get a result. It's very hard there. You see Agudelo just showing a very good responsibility. Gets stepped on there. His first touch is so soft for a player up front.
I wouldn't put it past Belgium, though, to do that against a Germany side who've got nothing left to play for in the group.
Well, I know. Well, let's hopefully this is something very positive for the U.S. This free kick.
Chirundolo plays it in, bounces around, and Adu puts it in the back of the net, but the whistle's gone. And the USA and Adu are foiled again. Adu, of course, who had that controversial goal ruled out at the World Cup against Slovenia that would have been a winner.
And you see Jurgen Klinsmann not very happy as well. The first ball played in was excellent from Steve Chirundolo. Clarence Goodson was one of the players that were in the mix. And I'm guessing the referee might have said it was a handball because there was no offside there. The challenge came, but what a great follow-up by Maurice Adu.
Let's have a look. Now, what's this given for? Oh.
Well, I'm saying that the only thing that could have been given there was off the hand of Clarence Goodson, because the flag came up quickly from the assistant referee on the near side.
The protests weren't too vehement from the USA either. Here's Dempsey. But they're knocking on the door now, the US. Forcing Belgium back. And Klinsmann will be encouraged by this. The danger tonight was that the US with tired legs might have been wiped away by Belgium by a biggish score. That hasn't happened, and they're seeking an equaliser now. Laurentowicz is attacking this. Might get his header in, and again the decision goes Belgium's way.
I mean, he challenges Lambert in the air, and number 5 has scored the goal. Just a little bit over the back of him, but enthusiastic run in the box. I like that, though, from Jeff Laurentowicz coming on. We talked about the runs out of the midfield from the central position. Very important to get through those 2 center backs of Belgium and open up space, maybe even for Agudelo. But just another option in going forward there from the central part of the field.
He's got 6 MLS goals this year. Laurentowicz. He's a bit of a long-range specialist.
Oh, he is. He has a great shot from distance.
I think he scored more goals from distance in MLS over the last 5 years than any other player. So the people who keep a record of these things tell me, anyway.
You've been doing a lot of reading, haven't you?
As ever. Here's Beckerman. Laurentowicz looking to chip it up at Agudelo, but Alderweireld was strong enough. It's good use of the feet that by Howard.
Excellent technique by Howard. Left foot.
Goalkeepers have to be so versatile these days.
I remember before talking to Jurgen too about when the ball turns over, how quickly can you apply pressure as a U.S. side, and heavy legs like you said beforehand, but still the chase there from Dempsey, good pressure. You see from Agudelo up top, good pressure on the ball. You just need some outside players. Breck Shea's pushed higher a little bit on that left-hand side, the number 11. I'd like to see it on the right here. Maybe Steve Cherundolo, can he find space in behind on the weak side?
I think in all the circumstances and the talent among the opposition, the US have done okay here tonight.
Look at this.
Here's Shea. Cut back Dempsey, deflected. And it falls very, very neatly. The goalkeeper Mignolet, and Klinsmann turns away, disappointed again, but his side are looking more likely to score in this phase than in any other phase of the game.
I just think it's so encouraging when you see Breck Shea turn around under pressure and go one-on-one. Man, he just went around that player, no problem at all. Good ball in, strike from Dempsey. Unfortunately, did not have that much pressure, that pace on it, but still well connected. It was a tough ball. Came at him hard.
Late pressure from the US. Edu had the ball in the back of the net. Not exactly clear why it was ruled out. We think possibly a handball. Interesting to hear the players' reaction. 2 minutes of added time. That's all the US have left here to rescue this, otherwise it's going to be a second consecutive defeat. But I don't think this is one that anybody should be getting too upset about, is it, John?
No, I don't think there's a high significance put on the result, but also on the display here. There's been a lot of good character from certain individuals, and that's what Jurgen Klinsmann's looking for.
Oh, it's fallen here for Lukaku, who's onside and wastes the chance.
Well, I think
slip by Goodson that let him in.
Well, I don't know if it was more of a slip or a tug on the jersey as well. Seemed like the referee was pretty far away from that. Maybe a bit of a bump, but lost his footing. Anyway, I thought Lukaku actually just kind of put down Clarence Goodson just enough. A little bit of a shove.
Looks like Belgium are going to beat the USA as they did in 1995 and 1998, the last time the two countries met. And it does look as if it's going to be a 6th consecutive defeat on a visit to Europe for the US. But not defeat with dishonour. Mertens. Lombert to Lukaku. Flack stayed down. He's already made his Premier League debut for 7 minutes at the end against Norwich for Chelsea. Lukaku. Dempsey. One last attack maybe for the US here. Can they conjure almost a last kick equaliser? That's what it might take. Referee's checked his watch, but not blown the whistle, not yet. Need to get it in there really now. Chandler to Edu. It's a bit of a miscue and it's gone out of play. And that's the end of it. No goals for the USA. Still only 1 goal in the Klinsmann reign so far, and still no win. Your verdict, John?
I think overall he'll be able to kind of see players in a different setting, assess some of them individually, how we did as a team for the U.S. And not a bad result. We talked about how hard it is coming in to play a Belgium side. Very difficult. There were some times they were under pressure, the U.S., so in the first half, where Belgium came out flying. They put them under pressure. They kept, really Tim Howard kept them in play. In the second half, they opened up a little bit more. Some good stuff from Breck Shea down the line, I thought. Some individual performances. Agudelo was really fresh in the second half. Did a good job.
Jurgen Klinsmann becomes the first coach not to win in his first 3 internationals since Lothar Osiander between 1985 and 87. Yeah, Lothar.
Yeah, but the thing is, don't focus on the results right now. We're just focusing on the play of individuals.
Yeah.
Certainly more of collectively as a group, what the mindset is, the preparation of these players, what Jurgen Klinsmann is trying to do. And sometimes it takes a long time to change over that mentality in the process of the way you approach games. So some good stuff there from some young players right there. 2 of them in your Breck Shea on the right and Juan Agudelo right there on your screen. Did very well tonight.
Team improved in the second half. Looked quite solid in it. Last 10 minutes might have grabbed an equalizer.
I agree. I think there's some good distribution through that midfield in the second half. Kyle Beckerman did a very good job coming in on tired legs. I thought he played well. He and Maurice Edu distributing through the midfield.
Let's go downstairs. Rob Stone is with Clint Dempsey.
Clint, your first game under Jurgen Klinsmann, how would you assess your performance?
Yeah, it was okay. In bits and pieces, like the first 20 minutes of the game, we played well. We kept possession. We're moving the ball around well. We just had trouble, getting chances. After they scored the goal, they kind of set back a little bit. We started getting a little bit more of the ball. We started getting a few more chances, but we couldn't put one away. It's frustrating, but at times we played good football. We just got to keep moving in the right direction. It's sad that we haven't got a win for the coach yet, but we're going to keep working hard and make sure we get it right, make sure we qualify for the World Cup, because, that's the main goal.
What have you noticed that's different with this team and this makeup under Coach Klinsmann?
We changed the formation up a little bit with a 4-3-3. We just got to work on it a little bit more, but you see that we get a lot of possession in the midfield. We're moving the ball around. People are more confident to get on the ball, but we got to come to places like this. We got to come to Europe, play against some of these those teams that have quality on their side, and we got to test ourselves. So I think some guys got some good experience tonight. Thought Breck Shea played well. We just got to keep moving forward, and I think we'll be all right.
Clint, we appreciate you joining us live. Thanks.
Clint Dempsey there. His first appearance for Jurgen Klinsmann. Who were the players you liked tonight then, John?
Well, I just saying beforehand, Breck Shea, one of them. I think that Agudelo, second half, did a good job of holding the ball, being responsible. It's nice to see Steve Cherundolo come back into this team in the back and kind of have a calming influence to the distribution. Tim Howard did well, was tested in the first half. He came up strong. And, you're looking at Maurice Edu through the midfield, distribution-wise, hanging in there and playing throughout.
Conditions akin to the deck of an Atlantic trawler at the moment.
I have no idea what you mean.
The rain's lashing down.
Yes.
Translation.
Thank you.
I'll do the translations for you, John.
Yes, it's cats and dogs here. It's coming down in buckets. Well, I think Clint Dempsey was good. He was responsible. He wanted to get on the ball as much as possible and link up. So overall, a lot of promising things to look at, and then certain things to work on as well.
Jurgen Klinsmann's down there now with Rob.
Coach, let's talk about the positives first. What were the positives today?
Well, definitely the positives. The first 20-25 minutes we played, I think, quite well, and also the positives after we got this goal after a set piece. The team reacted very, very good. They moved, they shifted everything forward, and they try to force a couple of good chances. And I think, I haven't seen it on TV yet, but I think we had a clear goal here. So we had a real case, and the refs in a certain way didn't really help us that much. But we need those type of tests, and I think that was a very good test.
What is the focus on right now with a month essentially till your next match?
Well, the month is really building something where they get an understanding for each other, where they know, how to move and how to shift as a team, how to defend and attack as a team. And definitely we need to improve more presence in the box and more chances at the end of the day to score goals.
3 matches in, who are the names that have impressed you so far?
Oh, there are a lot of names. I mean, if you see youngsters like Breck Shea, how he's
He's playing here like he already plays on the national team for 10 years. You know, I think Tim Howard is an amazing, calm goalkeeper. I mean, we have a very, very strong core in that group, and now we have youngsters breaking in. They are hungry for their chance.
Coach, thanks for joining us live. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
He remains smiling. He remains optimistic. Is he right to be optimistic, John?
Well, I think so. When you put different demands on players, when you play in an environment like this, and you want to see what they're made of, well, they certainly came at him the second half after the goal was scored. Lambert, he strikes for Belgium, but the U.S. didn't sit back. They didn't give up. They certainly came out and they played very well. They looked to link up and get some chances there in the 18 final third. But look, you know, as Jurgen Klinsmann just said there, we want to see better chances, more improvement in terms of how many opportunities we have to put things on goal and score goals. But I still think it's a long process here, and people have to be patient when they're observing.
Next chance will be against Honduras in Miami next month. And a game 3 days later as well. Opponents to be announced. Let's go to Bob Lee in the studio for an alternative view of things now.
As always, Ian, looks like a very warm and windy night there, and rainy as well. To enjoy the chocolate that Ian seems enamored of in Brussels, Belgium. If you say results don't matter, I'm here with Alexi Lalas and Tim Twellman. You had to see the smiles on the Belgian players. This was a big result for them because they're having trouble qualifying for Europe. So now we talk about the process. We talk about creating chances. We talk about this team playing well in stretches. But results are something that's out there in the national mindset. The equation of results and the process. It's one that's going to be going on. Qualification begins in June. That's when it really matters. But still, results matter now.
Results matter. The results matter in the World Cup. And Clint Dempsey said it. This is all a road leading to the World Cup. And if you want to scream and yell right now with the way this team is playing, fair enough. But ultimately, it's going to be about starting next summer, qualifying for the World Cup. That's what Jurgen Klinsmann is being paid for in the short term. Maybe bigger picture stuff that comes further down the line, fair enough. But this is about qualifying for the World Cup and doing well in the World Cup.
It's real simple for me. 6 halves, 1 goal. And the key is the quality of chances. Like Harksey alluded to it earlier. There's no chances. How many chances in the game? Maybe 2, and one's off a set piece. The other one's a goal that probably should have been counted. That's not good enough. And I know it's early. It's only 3 games. 1 goal in 6 halves under Jurgen Klinsmann.
So what if there was no Breck Shea or no Torres and all the usual suspects were there and they scored goals and they won? You wouldn't have bloodied those guys. You wouldn't have found out that Castillo, Orozco, Rogers, in my opinion, aren't good enough. That's what these games are for.
Right. But don't you play the game to win the game?
Without a doubt.
So that's why, friendly or not, you're still playing to win the game. No one's scoring goals.
I would rather win next summer when qualifying starts and have the arsenal that you acquired over this time of figuring it out and having these games.
I'd rather win today.
Breck Shea singled out by Jurgen Klinsmann in the postgame as somebody who's certainly among the new breed has impressed, and he's over to England to take a look at Stuart Holden in a reserve match at his club. The 1 goal it came off the throw-in in the 55th minute. Much more, a full highlight package coming up. Rainy evening in Belgium. 3rd match under Jurgen Klinsmann. Timmy Simons plays at Nuremberg, puts it on goal, and there is Tim Howard.
Great save.
We're going to talk about him a lot. He's massive.
He's the reason it was scoreless at the half.
Great technique, hit with pace, good save.
8 minutes later. Well, you'll see what he's able to do is Fellaini with a shot on goal off the volley. Reflexively, knocks it down, carries it down.
Good reaction. You see, that's coming quick.
That's even a better first touch finish. Well done from Timmy Howard.
Then off the throw-in, 54th minute, Nicolas Lambert shoots low, past Howard, through traffic.
It's a set piece. It's a throw-in. And in our quest to get more possession, you can't lose the things that the U.S. has been good at. Defending corners, defending set pieces, being good in the air.
Was this onside? Maurice Edu gets the head to it. You heard the whistle before he even was able to complete the play.
But who's offside?
Check it out.
Here we go. Let's take a look.
Good slap.
It's tough. If Goodson started offside, comes back.
Offside, and when the ball is kicked, he's offside, and he comes back and heads the ball. I think that's what it's called.
Klinsmann pled his case, walked down the touchline, talking to the assistant referee. So, as you pointed out, Taylor, 270 minutes of play under this new national team coach. Mexico, Costa Rica, now Belgium. 1 goal. Bursts of promise and possession. And the question of patience and then looking ahead towards qualification, which begins in June, and exactly that dynamic tension between results and the mission.
I mean, the difference is, I'm not necessarily talking about goals, it's chances. If the U.S. was creating 10 chances a game and they only had 1 goal, I'd say, okay, fair enough. There's excitement building. The only excitement in the last 2 games is the possession in the first 25, 30 minutes. But there's 2 chances on goal, Alexi.
Absolutely, but when you're talking about creating a different type of style where it is that patient build up everything on the floor, you have to set that base, and that's going to take some time. The end product of that is obviously finishing, and that is something that's crucial. Don't get me wrong, you're absolutely right. That has to be at some point, and I think Jurgen Klinsmann even mentioned it in his post-game interview. They got to be more dangerous in the box. When they do have that patience and it does come together, they got to have somebody.
Is Torres the guy to play that midfield position going forward? I mean, we have seen the vision, the ability to distribute the ball.
I don't think he is good enough to be the absolute maestro, the number 10, if you will, absolutely leading the show, but he's the best thing that the U.S. team has. Now, if Jurgen Klinsmann wants this player to lead this team in that sense, you have to build everything around him. And so...
Well, who's next from? Stuart Holden coming back, Clint Dempsey coming back, and Landon Donovan's there, then Torres might be pretty effective.
Yeah, and it's obviously Klinsmann.
But he can't be the guy.
He loves what Brek Shea has been able to do so far for him in 2 matches.
Yeah, I mean, when you see Brek Shea with his size and his ability, I still think he needs to get further wide and be much more of a presence out wide when he's out there.
And get to the end line, and then with the ball back.
Yeah, and
not cutting inside all the time.
Yeah, the man was tired.
Well, he's exhausted.
Belgium 1, USA 0, but we saw Tim Howard, the difference in keeping the United States in this match. Time now for the All-State Good Hands save of the game. It came on the 26th minute. The Everton keeper, Tim Howard. Timmy Simons outside the box on a day when that ball was slipping and sliding all over the place. 2 great saves in the first half by Howard to keep it level at that point. Then the set-piece goal in the 55th minute by Belgium, and
no rebound. That was the key to that save.
Good hand save. And so, trip to Belgium. That was early on the attempt, and by design, Dempsey put it in on 1 hop. Chances for the U.S., no goals. This is not a recording.